Hi everyone, this is Maria from the Planted app, and I'm really excited to see you back on our channel. Today I have another video for you guys, and we're going to talk about plants that exist in almost every true plants enthusiast or true plant hero house, and these are succulents. Let's get started. So if you want to know whether you're caring for your succulent in the right way, it is time to learn its species. And in this video, I'll talk about succulents, what they are, which ones are more or less widespread, and how to identify the succulent that you've got already. We're gonna start with the first very simple question: what is actually a succulent? Succulents are plants that store water in their leaves. They come in many shapes, sizes, and colors, but their common trait is that their leaves look swollen because they need to store water inside. There is a stereotype that all succulents come from deserts, but that's not true at all. Some of these greenies originate from forests, coasts, or even boggy soils. So how do I actually know which succulent do I have? There are over 10,000 succulent species, and their number is increasing all the time because cultivars constantly crossbreed them. In this situation, you may think that succulent identification is an impossible task, but let me assure you, that is not true at all. Most likely, your succulent belongs to one of the popular types of succulents on the market. What I usually notice first when identifying succulents is shape. The first one we're going to talk about is the rosette. A lot of succulents grow in a rosette shape. These are short plants with leaves radiating from the center, like this one over here. Most Echeveria, Sempervivum, and sedum species have rosette shape. There are also species with stemless and loose rosette, such as Aloe and Agave. Next, we have trailing succulents, and trailing succulents sprout out long stems that overflow their containers. A donkey tail and a string of pearls belong to this side. The next one, we have creeping succulents. These succulents also have long and flexible stems, but they sprout more densely and cover the ground like a carpet. Sedum stonecork is a prime example. Tree Leek. These succulents are just like little trees with woody stems and leaves. ADM succulents belong to this category. Vertical. Some succulents grow vertically and become tall and smooth. Most Crassula, sedum, and Senecio greenies are just like this. Now we have bulbs. In these greenies, you can see leaves growing from underground of the bulbs instead of stems. Silver squirrel and frizzle sizzle belong to this group. The next one, we have shrubs. These are succulents that tend to grow in large bushes. Kalanchoe bluesferiana is one of the best examples. One of the other ones is leafless succulents. These are the ones that don't have leaves. Euphorbia plantis belong to this category. And let's move on to the second part of this video, which is the common succulent genera. These are genera that usually have many different species, but are quite similar in terms of looks and care requirements. So we will be starting with Aeonium. There are 35 species of Aeoniums, and their distinguished feature is glossy and waxy leaves arranged in rosettes. Leaves are often wavy-edged and sometimes have hair-fringed margins. The next one is Echeveria. Echeveria stem form a thick-leaved rosette. The smooth leaves of this plant are fleshy with a waxy cuticle on the exterior. Echeverias are slow growers and usually don't exceed 12 inches, about 31 cm in diameter. The next one we're going to talk about is Crassula. Crassula plants are very different in color, shapes, and sizes. Crassula ovata, or jade plant, is this one over here, is one of the most popular species of this genus. It has thick woody stems and oval-shaped dark green leaves. Now moving on to Aloe. Aloe are stemless or very short-stemmed plants with thick green and fleshy leaves that sprout out of the plant center. The distinctive feature of this plant are scattered small teeth on the leaf margins. And the next one is Agave. You can easily identify Agave by thick, tapered, and rigid leaves that end with spiny tips. The foliage is usually blue-green to gray-green. Now we're going to talk about Haworthia. Haworthias are tiny succulents forming rosettes of fleshy green leaves. They have a distinctive feature, wide and curly white or bands over the leaf surface. The next one is Sempervivum, and these succulents are similar to Echeverias, but their leaves are narrower and covered with small teeth. Moving on to Kalanchoe. Kalanchoes are usually quite short plants, but with long stems and broad and wide leaves, light to deep green in color. If you're not recognizing your plant from the types that I just described, there are other main characteristics to pay attention to during succulent plant identification. These can be helpful if your succulent is a rare queen. We're gonna start with leaves and stem. Which kind of leaves your succulent has is very important. Leaves can be long or short, forming a rosette, or long trails, with sharp or round tips. And similarly, does your plant actually have a stem at all? Maybe it resembles a tree with leaves. Maybe it's many-branched and trailing, or just erect with few low or no leaves at all. And moving on to color, leaf color is no less important. If your plant is green, which shade is it? Does it have any marks or spots of other colors? The next one is flowers. If your succulent is flowering, pay attention to the color of the flower, its size, the number of the blooms and petals per bloom. Spikes and spines. Look whether your plant is smooth or has spikes or spines on its leaves. There may be just some teeth on the edges, small soft hairs, or very long spikes. One of the most common mistakes is mixing up cactus and succulents. In fact, cacti is a botanical family which is a part of the succulent group. So not succulents are cacti, while all cacti are succulents. Also, if you would like to know more information about cacti, about their identification, how to care for them, we're gonna have a link for you in the description below, and also you can follow the link right over here. Basically, the difference is this. While succulents usually have swollen and juicy leaves with a smooth surface or little teeth, most cacti have no leaves, but they have spikes. And going back to our topic, another thing to notice are rounded indentations along the cacti stems. These are areoles from which the spines usually grow. So the next part of this video is how do you tell what is wrong with a succulent? It is really important to know how to grow succulents if you want your plants to stay alive and do well. If you feel like something is wrong with your greenie, this is how you can learn about what might have happened to it. Number 1 is overwatering. Overwatering is a major problem with succulents. If you have overwatered your plant, you'll notice swollen, yellowing, soft and mushy leaves that can fall off from a slightest touch. If you touch the soil, you'll feel that only a very thin layer of the soil is dry, or that it's not getting dry at all. The next point is the opposite, underwatering. Most cacti and succulents are hardy, but if you haven't been watering your plant at all, you'll see how the leaves are also getting yellow. But unlike with overwatering, the leaves will wither, shrivel, shrink, and wilt, and the soil will be very, very dry. The next point is sunburn. Most cacti and succulents love the sun, but during intense heat waves, even these greenies can get sunburns. But don't put SPF on your plant. The sunburns look like brown or dark spots on the leaves. The next one is not enough light. The opposite and more common issue with your succulent, not getting enough sunlight. The most telltale sign of this is the plant starting to lean towards the light. The stem becomes elongated, but there are fewer leaves. If it continues to grow towards one side uncontrollably, your plant will eventually overturn the pot. The next problem is lack of nutrients. This can happen if your plant hasn't been repotted for several years or fertilized on time. Misshapen and discolored leaves can be the signs of nutrient deficiency. But keep in mind that nutrient deficiencies are much rarer than watering and light issues, so you have to be sure that other causes are not at work before starting to treat your plant from a nutrient deficiency. Now, is there an app to identify succulents? Sometimes I stay very confused with identifying them, and this is where Succulent ID apps come in handy. And Plant-In app easily identifies your succulent, but that's not the whole story. With just a few clicks, you'll get a professional care tips and watering reminders. Plus, if you feel like there's something wrong with your plant, you can always talk to our botanists. They are always ready to help you out with any issue. If this seems like an interesting thing, try Plant-In for free on Android, iOS, and web. The link is down in the description box. And this will be all that I have for you in this video. I hope you liked it and I hope you learned something. Let us know in the comments if there are some other questions that are bothering you about your plant and how to be a great plant parent. We will happily help you with that. Don't forget to check out our app. our blog and maybe follow our other social medias. Subscribe to this channel for more videos, and don't forget to hit the bell notification for getting notified when we post new videos. And this is it. This is Maria from the Plantain app, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!